Welcome back, folks. I'm me, Phil Terrell. You're watching part 3 of the Megaman 3 Let's Play. We just finished beating all 8 Robot Masters and we're ready to fight the... What the heck is this? So this is a new thing that's added on to Mega Man games going forward, start from Mega Man 3. There's generally a slew of new levels or bosses that precede the castle levels, and Mega Man 3 is the first to introduce this with these new old robot masters that are called the dock robots. So we're going to be going through 4 repeating levels that are changed a bit. Sparkman, Needleman, Gemini Man, and Shadow Man's level. And each one of them is going to have 2 dock robots, a mid boss and then an end boss. Now, I'll save the surprise for later for those who have never played Mega Man 3, which probably is just a few people. But you're going to be replaying these levels, and they're a little bit of a remix of sorts. You're going to notice the layouts are going to be a little bit different. You might even see some kind of like damage throughout the levels, almost like something was tearing through the levels and whatnot. And then these little turn wheels on the, or I guess gears on the conveyor belts that you can jump on, those I don't think were in the original level. Now you do have these. I think those were just platforms before. But what you want to do for Sparkman's level, what I would encourage you to do is to not use weapon energy that is Magnet Missile, Hard Knuckle, Gemini Laser, or Search Snake, because those are going to be the weaknesses of the dock robots. And the thing about the dock robots are, you've technically fought them before if you've played Mega Man 2. And what I mean by that is these dock robots will copy the abilities of Wily's Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. So this dock robot is going to copy Metal Man. Now, Metal Man's weakness is going to be the Magnet Missile and the Hard Knuckle, which Magnet Missile is kind of self-explanatory because he's metal and it's a metal attracts magnets. But what makes these robots kind of harder and in a small sense unique is Dock Robot's size. Dock Robot is a rather large sprite, so certain fights, for example, the Quickman fight, which is not fun at all. I do not like Quickman Dock Robot at all, which happens to be the other Dock Robot in this level, because he's so big. And Quickman, of course, is really quick, so this thing's gonna be jumping off the walls like he's Quickman. I don't know what else to say. And he has quick boomerang, and he hurts a lot when he touches you, and you don't have the flash stopper. And the weapons that you have to use to kill Quickman, Dock Robot, are not fun to use for this type of fight. So just continue on the level. This level is not that hard compared to the others. I feel like it's kind of straightforward. Just remember, just keep running and jumping whenever you get onto these piles of junk. You can do what I'm doing, just slide and hold right, and you'll get through there just fine. Now, we reach Gemini Man Dock Robot, or Dock Robot Gemini Man, and he's weak against the Gemini Laser and Search Snake. Now, I don't like the Gemini Laser because if you use the Gemini Laser, it has a very good chance of missing, and you can only have one Gemini Laser at a time on the screen, and he's super random. As you can see here, he's just random, and he's huge, so he's going to be harder to jump over. As you see there, I've already almost died. Now, Search Snake is what I prefer. I do believe Gemini Laser hurts more, but if you miss with that Gemini Laser, you're going to be in a world of hurt because you have no way of defending yourself, or not really defending yourself, but being offensive against him. So this is why I prefer Search Snake. And even though I am almost done destroying him, I'm not taking a chance against this thing. This is the one Dock Robot I feel is like harder than the original one. The other ones, not so much. They might have their little quirks because they're so much more bigger than the original Robot Masters, with the exceptions being Airman and Woodman. But these Dock Robots, for the most part, I feel they're a little bit simpler compared to the rest, but some of them are a little bit harder, like Quickman. Now, Needleman's level is what I prefer to go second. It doesn't really matter the order, but the Dock Robots you're going to fight here are Airman and Crashman. Do not use Magnet Missile, Spark Shot, Hard Knuckle, or Top Spin if you want to use those weapons against those Dock Robots. So here, there's going to be more needles that are coming from the ceiling, but this is also where we get to see the awesome power of Rush. I'm surprised I'm avoiding all these needles as good as I am. So Rush Jet is very useful because you can use Rush Jet to go in any direction you want, and it'll only use energy for as long as you're on Rush Jet. And when I say on, if you jump, you'll substantially draw out the energy that you have for Rush. So you see there, I'm jumping all the time. That's just so I can keep as much energy as possible. And it makes a lot of these platformer sections so trivial. That's why they had to neuter this in Mega Man 4 and Mega Man 5. In Mega Man 6, we get a different type of rush. Very cool. I really like the rush that we get in Mega Man 6 and also Mega Man 7. But first fight is going to be against, let me go back to my notes, Airman. Airman's weak against Magnet Missile and Spark Shot. I'm going to go with Spark Shot. Now what makes this difficult is I feel that these tornadoes have a bigger hitbox. Sometimes you're not going to be able to avoid this, but like some of these you'll be able to slide underneath them. But what I'll do, I'll just spam Spark Shot. I'll get right close to them as soon as I can. I'll just Spark Shot the mess out of them. Okay, here you want to be super careful. You don't want to run out of rush energy here, rush jet energy, because if you run out of rush jet energy, you're gonna have to farm energy. So try to get this in one go. If you can't, you can't. It's okay. You'll find a way to do it, or you'll just die. Have to restart the level again. But use rush jet here and just jump. Just keep jumping, and you'll extend the energy out. And then what I like to do, take your time here, because those balloon enemies have a tendency to just drop down and then land right in front of you, and then just ruin your day by hitting you. And they won't knock you off rush, but it will just slow you down. And then remember, as long as you're on rush jet, you'll lose energy. So you're stunned, you're on rush, you'll burn energy. And if you burn enough energy and you run out, rush will disappear, and then you will fall to your doom, because that is a bottomless pit. So right here, I'm just going to slide, get the energy, go back on rush, and they give you well enough energy to get here, but those energy pellets do not respawn if you die. So make sure you know that. So get this energy, jump on the ladder, get off rush, and keep that energy handy. And you can do it all over again right here. You don't have to use rush coil. So I'm just going to do this, and boop, we're there. And I don't think I used one single piece of energy. Now, we're going to get into another sort of miniature boss fight here. It's not a super hard boss, but those metals that were hiding in storage, those giant ones, you're going to get this one here. Hit the cross on its forehead, and you can blow it up before it even gets a chance to do any sort of attacks. Here, be very careful. You're going to be fighting a lot of metals here, and those dragonflies are also going to come up. I like to use the magnet missiles right here, but I think magnet missiles is one of the weaknesses, right? No, it's a hard knuckle and top spin. So you can use your magnet missiles here. This is the one time I find magnet missiles to be super useful. The little cans here, I like to use shadow blades because I angle them if I want. But anytime I'm fighting these metals, I just stand right in front and just spam the shoot button. You can take them out before they do anything. Matter of fact, I don't even remember what their attack pattern is, because that's just what I do just right out of habit. I just get in their face and I just shoot the cross out of their forehead, and then boom, they're dead, and I don't have to worry about them. So next we're going to fight Crashman. Crashman's more or less the same, I feel. Doc Robot will shoot the crash bomb. I'll just go ahead and show the save right there. I'm not ashamed to show that. But you can use top spin, or you can use, what did I say, or hard knuckle. I'm going to choose top spin, because even though I do take damage, and I just used up all my dang energy, it does hurt, but I just have a bad habit of not staying alive. But spoiler alert, I did use the reload, the save function there to save my game. But anyways, hard knuckle is probably the way to go. Now that I'm watching myself play, I probably saw that like no, we're not using top spin. You're going to live with your failure, Phil, and they're going to see that you died and use the save game feature. We're going to go after Gemini Man next. His level is going to contain Flashman and Bubble Man. Flashman is probably the harder of the two. And I actually learned something very interesting about the Bubble Man rematch here with this Doc Robot, but I'll talk about it when we get to it. Magnet Missile will still be the way to go. And what's interesting is the fire here is now blue from these robots that shoot this fire. I don't remember if it does more damage or not. It just might be a different color, but Magnet Missile is also what I would recommend doing here. You will run out of it eventually unless they drop energy, but I like to just use Magnet Missiles here. It just makes it a lot more easier. I don't have to worry about them dipping and knocking me into a pit. or if they're way up ahead, I can just hit them and you know, don't have to worry about anything at all. So that's what I like to do. If not, you just gotta be very careful with your platforming. They will always dive after you, so if you jump and shoot them as they're diving, you might have a good chance of hitting before they do any sort of lasting impact. So here's going to dive, but luckily I was in the one spot it cannot hit, so just be very careful. You'll jump down the hole that Breakman made. As you can see here, it's a little bit more open. I'm going to go ahead and risk it for the brisket to see what's in that container. Hopefully it's weapon energy or something, or an energy tank. Sometimes you might get lucky, get an energy tank or an extra life here. So just remember, these little eggs contain tadpoles. You can farm energy if you wish. You will need to clear out just a little bit more to make a bridge to keep going, because your pellets will not reach all the way across off screen. So just keep shooting, and then eventually you'll get it. So we go down here, go this way, and then clear out some more eggs. And then the weapon energy you don't want to use is Needle Cannon, Gemini Laser, Spark Shot, and Shadow Blade. Now, I would argue after reading something that Megaman has a weakness to Rush Marine or Rush Jet, whichever of those you want to use, and I'll explain the logic when we get to that fight. But it's very neat. It's very, very neat. I didn't know that, and I wish I had read it before I played Megaman 3, because it would have been cool to show it off if it was true. I imagine if it's on the Megaman Wiki, it's probably legit. So go ahead and take out all these eggs, clear out some space, and I'm going to try to farm some energy. Let's fill up that magnet missile, get all that, because honestly, magnet missile is one of my favorite weapons, but I just wish it had more energy. That's like the one thing. It's what keeps it from being a great weapon. It's a good weapon, but it's not a great weapon. Or I should say, yeah, it's a good weapon, but it's not a great weapon. Anyways, Flashman's weaknesses. You can either use the Mega Buster, which I shouldn't be using. Use the Needle Cannon or Gemini Laser. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Needle Cannon. I think that's what I just used, right? Yes. So we're going to keep on going. Use Rush Coil, go up here, or Rush Jet, whichever, or it doesn't really matter. Just be very careful, because you don't want to get hit by an enemy and fall down the pits. If you notice like a hole in some of these membranes, you can see those robots kind of like drop down. Rush Marine is what I would use here, so it's a much more bigger water area. And this is like the only other time other than the castle that Rush Marine's ever useful. So the two Gemini Man levels is the only time where Rush Marine is ever useful, I find. And that's a little bit sad, but then again, there's not a lot of water levels in Megaman. But continue on, just take out these little bugs that have lights on them, whatever. Just continue on, go, that could have ended badly right there. And then just, you know, be mindful. They'll go down ladders that that they're about to touch, so just be mindful of that, and you can avoid any sort of damage. Go down here, and we'll fight Bubbleman. Now, Bubbleman's official weaknesses, I keep saying Bubbleman, but like the Dock robot that copies him, Spark Shot, Shadow Blade is his weaknesses. But if you decide to get a little bit experimental, you can actually use Rush Marine and Rush Jet to stay above the ground, because he's going to jump in the air, and he won't start his other pattern until you're touching the ground. So when he jumps and lands and you're in the air, he won't do anything. So in theory, according to the Megaman Wiki, you can use Rush Marine and Rush Jet to stay above the ground and just pellet that Dock robot with pellets. But that's the end of this part. I'm rambling too long after the part. I'll catch you next one, folks. Later, and bye.